Hello everyone. I am here because I wanted to share my journey and my update on my pregnancy. I am 38 weeks. This is actually my first video with a pregnancy update. I wish I had started doing this earlier on in my pregnancy, but I have been dealing with pretty severe SPD, which is symphysis pubis dysfunction. And this is something, basically, just as a brief description, when you get pregnant, your body releases a hormone called relaxin that's supposed to kind of like open up all of your joints, which, you don't really need stuff to start opening up until much later on in your pregnancy to get you ready for labor. But some people just produce too much of it, or they produce it too early on. And so for me, I was diagnosed right around 16 weeks. I was only about 4 months along. And it's been just a really, really hard pregnancy due to this issue. I feel like it's been very isolating and that no one really can relate or understand. I think it's something like 1 in 5 pregnant women will experience something like this type of pelvic pain. And like, not only physically has it really affected me, but mentally, it's been extremely difficult because I'm a very active person. I like to work out, and even like if I'm not working out, I like to keep busy during the day. And it's just, that kind of has all been taken away from me over the last 5 months or so. So also just wanted to, before I kind of get more into everything, I just wanted to put out a disclaimer saying that I am in no way a doctor. I am not a physical therapist. I am just someone who's been dealing with this that wants to share my experience. I don't want to be giving advice to anyone of what they should do if they're dealing with this. I just thought it might be helpful just for other women that might be going through this and they feel alone. For me, it's really helped to watch people's videos, or like even go on like people's Instagram that are all about like pelvic health, because it kind of just makes me feel less alone. So yeah, let's just get right into it. All right, so we'll just start from when I was diagnosed. Like I said, I was around 16 weeks. And I will just preface this also by saying that this is my second pregnancy. I did experience a little bit of this pelvic pain with my first pregnancy, but honestly, I just didn't really know what it was. I kind of thought it was like normal pregnancy pain that people just deal with, and it was in no way as severe as it is this time around. I really didn't do anything about it the first time around, but so kind of like what my symptoms were, it's very like anything on one leg or doing things with one leg, it is really, really difficult. So like, just even like if you think about getting into a car where you have to stand on one leg and then bring your leg over, like, and get up and sit into the car, like that would cause really, really severe pain, like in my whole pelvic area. And like turning over in bed, or like even getting dressed in the morning, if you think about it, like you have to lift one leg to put your underwear on or your pants on or whatever. Like they're like very basic things that like most people don't have to think about that they're doing throughout the day, that just creates, at least for me, it was very severe pain. Like stuff like getting into the shower, like having to step over the little, the tub or whatever to get into the shower, like just anything on one leg was really difficult. So it kind of started there, and then really affected my SI joint, my sacroiliac joint, I think is how you say it. So like at the very, very, very base of my spine, has been really, really painful. Like, I mean, honestly, just sitting for more than like 5 or 10 minutes, like even right now, I'm sitting in a chair I tried to make extra comfortable with pillows. It's not comfortable at all. It feels like I'm just getting like stabbing pain like in my very, very low back. I decided to talk to my doctor about it, and she referred me to a pelvic floor physical therapist. And I started that, I would say, like at the beginning of March. It is now like mid-July right now, and I've been going pretty much twice a week. They really just do a lot of like mobilization. I did some like internal work because this really can affect your pelvic floor muscles as well. It's a big part of the issue, because if you think about like your pelvis, and then there's the pelvic floor, that's like the whole muscle that's holding everything in and holding everything up. And that is something I did want to talk about, because when I was, kind of reading up on my pain and my symptoms and stuff, like before I ended up starting physical therapy, so many articles and like things had told me to do Kegels, and to like just try to do those to try to strengthen the pelvic floor. And once I got to physical therapy and they did an internal exam, they basically said that I have very high tone pelvic floor muscles, which means that they're extremely tight. And so when I talked to her about, that I saw like, oh, I should be doing more Kegels or something, and she said like, I do not want you doing any Kegels at all, because that would just kind of do the opposite. Since my muscles are so tight, they're trying to get them to relax, so it didn't really make sense for me to be trying to tighten them throughout the day. So that's just like one thing where I feel like it's really important. If I know it's hard because not everyone has insurance and not everyone has the money to go to a pelvic floor specialist, but I just want to put it out there that if you are able to do something like that and you're having any type of pain during your pregnancy, I highly, highly, highly recommend going to see someone, you could just go for like the initial evaluation. And if you can't pay for sessions, maybe they could help you out, just with like some exercises and stretches and stuff to do at home. But yeah, so for me, that was a really big thing. Like that made me realize like, oh, like my problems are not what everything is saying on the internet, or even like what my doctor had told me to do. Like a lot of people just don't really know much about the issue. So that would be like my number one recommendation, is to go see somebody that specializes in this specific thing. And also, I just wanted to share, I got this belt. Of course, I think probably if you're having these issues, like most doctors or physical therapists will tell you to try a pelvic belt. And I originally just went on to Amazon and tried to find like one with the best reviews, and I got one like that, and it was cheap and not great. So then my PT actually gave me a link to this one, and so it's called the Sorolla Biomechanics belt, and this one is, I would say, 10 times better than the one I was using before. It has like straps on the side that you can adjust, the tightness of everything. They have a bunch of different sizes, and I wear it all the time when I know I'm going to be walking around, or even sometimes when I'm sitting. But it just kind of helps. Once your belly gets bigger, it really helps to like hold your belly in a little bit, but it also helps in my like SI joint, where I can kind of keep my hips together, since I feel like they're like moving around constantly. So I will put a link below to this specific belt because it is a little bit more spendy. I think I spent like $60 on it. But if you're dealing with pretty severe pain, I highly recommend getting something like this. Those are like really, I would say, the two things, physical therapy and this belt, that have, helped me. I wouldn't say that it's relieved my pain, unfortunately. I still have had some really, really tough days where I feel like I can barely walk. I have a toddler and he is very big. He's not even 2 yet, and he's like, I don't know, 38 pounds or something crazy, and very tall. But you know, I can't pick him up. I can't like really play with him and chase him around and do fun things with him. And so unfortunately, like, it's really put a strain on my marriage as well. It's just, my husband has had to do, I mean, he's done like every bedtime with our son for the last like 3 or 4 months. Just over the past month, I would say, like, he's getting up with him now in the mornings too. Like, I was trying to do that before, but it's just gotten way too difficult because we live in a 2-story house, and so just even going up and down the stairs is just a lot of work for me. So you know, I wanted to kind of share where I'm at now. I am luckily going to be induced at 39 weeks due to all of the issues that I'm having. So if it's your second pregnancy and you're open to being induced, I would, you know, recommend just maybe talking to your doctor about it. Because I mean, I've been ready, I would say since like 2 months ago. To have this baby, because the pain is, some days it's just unbearable. I wake up crying and I wonder how I'm gonna make it through the day. I would, you know, reach out to the people in your life and try to get support if you have other kids. It's just a really, really hard side of pregnancy. And I feel like part of me does sometimes feel guilty, like that I'm hating being pregnant and that I'm in pain all the time, and that I should be so grateful that I'm, you know, able to carry my babies, and I am, but at the same time, it's like, this is just not normal. I'm struggling every single day. I mean, just going pee is like a struggle for me, like with my pelvic floor being so tight, you know, it's just, everything just feels very, very difficult. So after my induction, I do want to do like an update of kind of how the labor and delivery went. I feel like it's really hard for me to lay on my back at all. And so I'm going to try to find like different positions that I can get in for labor. I'm going to give an update when that rolls around, and then I'll probably do like a postpartum update of where the SPD is at, because it can take some women months to kind of feel 100%, and I'm planning to still see my pelvic floor specialist postpartum, because I really want to make sure that I feel and am 100%, like all of my muscles and my hips, and I want to make sure that everything is good moving forward, so that you know, it doesn't affect me anymore throughout my life, because I know that there are some women that will deal with this pain for years, because they think it's just like, oh, I had a baby, I will pee sometimes when I'm laughing or sneezing, and like, that is common for women, but it's not normal. There are ways to fix those things, and you don't have to like deal with that for the rest of your life. So I hope that, you know, this helped even one person, just to listen to someone else talk about it a little bit. And you know, if you're going through it, just, you are extremely strong. You are carrying a baby, you are going to birth a baby, and you just kind of got to take things day by day, you know. And on my bad days, I definitely was in that mindset where it was just, I couldn't even think about, I had, you know, 3 more months of this or whatever it was, but now I'm, you know, 6 days away from my induction date. So my husband, because he really has stepped his game up, and I'm looking forward to things being normal and my body hopefully being and feeling more normal after I have this baby. So I will keep everyone updated. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.